All right. Again, thank you everyone for joining our first Paradigm Grow chat. I'm Audrey Lustgarten. I'm one of the founding members of Paradigm. Really excited to see everyone here today interested in their personal and professional growth and development. We are going to try to keep this really as informal as possible. So welcome input, comments, questions at any time during this chat. This one is maybe going to be a little more formal than some of our later chats just because we've got so many people on, but we're going to use breakout rooms because I want to give people the opportunity to actually interact with one another and have a proper chat. I think we'd like to just kick off by introducing the members of our Grow team. So as most of you know, Paradigm is divided up into different teams to make sure that we're kind of accomplishing all aspects of our mission. And a big part of our mission is grow. It's to help people grow and develop both professionally and personally. So again, I'm Audrey Lustgarten. I'm based in the US in Michigan. I'm an immigration attorney and I have a global practice helping US companies send employees to, I think it's 57 different countries around the world at this point. I think I will pass it, going in order on my screen, to Marcel. If you could introduce yourself, Marcel. Unmute and introduce.
Yes, thank you, Audrey. Hi, everyone. Good to see many familiar faces and to meet some people I'm not yet familiar with. So I'm Marcel Reurs. I'm an immigration lawyer practicing in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. So my practice consists of advising on Dutch immigration law, and I work with a firm called Everard Immigration Lawyers. I think that's all for me, Audrey, for now.
All right, next on the screen, Julia, can you go?
Hi, everyone. My name is Julia Macri. I'm an immigration attorney. I'm based in San Francisco, and I practice inbound US immigration as well as global immigration. And I think my favorite area is the Middle East because it's so tricky.
Great, thanks, Julia. Renee.
Hi, everyone. I'm Renee Stegman. I am based in Cape Town, South Africa, and I run a business called Relocation Africa, which runs both immigration and destination services covering most of the continent, which is all very tricky. And I'm very happy to be part of the Grow team.
Fantastic. Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Atkins. I'm an immigration attorney based in the Bay Area, and I, similar to Julia, practice US inbound immigration, and then half of my practice is global mobility. So managing teams in London and Singapore and in the US and moving people all over the world on their short and long-term immigration assignments. And I'm really excited to be a part of Grow and Paradigm and learn about, the other aspects of mobility. That's kind of why we're here and doing this. So I'm pumped.
Great. Thanks so much, Lisa. We've got a couple of other team members that couldn't be here with time zones and travel, but hopefully you'll get to meet them on future chats. Actually, I know you will because the next chat that we're going to have in a few weeks is at 4 a.m. my time. So you'll definitely be meeting the other team members rather than me at 4 in the morning. I think I'm going to go ahead and split us into groups now so that we can kind of interact a little bit more than we can in this big setting. So bear with me for a couple of minutes while I assign people to breakout rooms. You'll see an invite pop up on your screen to move to a breakout room. We will be in breakout rooms for a little while chatting and then come all back together to kind of talk about next steps in Grow's plans for the year and answer questions about that. As you've probably seen in the invite for this, we've got a couple of exciting programs, Paradigm Academy for people who are more junior, kind of starting out in the field, first few years of practice. And then we also have the Mastermind Group for those who are a little bit more seasoned. I'm going to say seasoned, not old, and to kind of do some peer-to-peer support in that setting. So bear with me just a minute, and I'm going to attempt to break you into rooms. Sorry guys, it auto muted everyone again. I promise I do want to hear from other people and not just hear myself speak. I didn't mean to. Well, thank you guys so much. I know I was in group 2 and we had a good discussion, got to hear a little bit about everybody, introduction. So that was fantastic. I hope group 1 did well too. I wanted to bring us all back together so we can chat a little bit about kind of what comes next for the Grow team. You know, what are we going to be up to, and give a chance for people to ask questions as well. I don't know, Marcel, I guess I'll pause for a moment here. And does anyone have any pressing questions right now, or anything they want us to address before we kind of go over our plans for the year? All right, awesome. Marcel, I don't know if I've got to make you a co-host, don't I? There we go. All right, I think Marcel's going to share his screen. If that works for you, Marcel, let me know. Oh, you're on mute. Let me unmute you. There we go. Fantastic, thank you. So we had a little bit of a hard time as a Grow team because there are so many things we want to do kind of all at once. And I'm a big proponent of not kind of over promising and under delivering. So we have kind of pared things down a little bit into 2 basic things that the Grow team is going to have this year, to hopefully address the needs of the really diverse group of people that we have as members of Paradigm, and who, you know, the new ones that are coming in. So we are going to have Paradigm Academy, and we're going to have the Paradigm Mastermind Group. The Academy, as I mentioned initially, is more targeted towards the people that are more junior and newer to the industry, and Mastermind is targeted more towards the seasoned. So if you want to flip to the next slide, Marcel.
Audrey,
Yes.
I know it might be a good point for clarity here, and I just might have picked up something in our breakout session.
Yeah.
So the academy section is for young people, but they will be essentially sort of taken through a structured program. Sorry, I know you're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
But the sort of mastermind group, I got the feeling from the group that they all wanted to kind of focus on youth, and development. Mm-hmm. And my understanding is mastermind is almost amongst each other to circulate and have discussions. So it might be an interesting question just to ask everyone, you know, if the clarity is clear in terms of the 2 groupings after the presentation.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to make sure that it's clear. And sometimes it's hard when you've been working on something with a small group for so long to then make sure that it's clear to a new audience that is, you know, just coming into it. So absolutely, please, if anyone isn't clear, has questions, you know, despite the fact that we auto muted you, we do really want to hear from you. But I think let's just go over what our concept of the programs are first, and then we'll do that. I don't know, Lisa and Julia, if you want to chime in and talk about Paradigm Academy. I've been talking kind of a lot. Maybe Julia, you want to go first?
Julia, go for it, start, and then I can add.
Sure. So the Paradigm Academy, as Renee and Audrey were saying, is aimed at junior professionals. It's going to be a set up in an academy style. So there will be online sessions where you'll have an expert, which is a really exciting thing, is that we're going to be finding like kind of the great minds and bringing them together to provide information about global mobility. And what I also really love about the Academy is that it's going to focus on all of the things that I kind of wish I knew when I was going into the field, which is a range of topics. So it's basic immigration 101, but then it's also about tax, and as well as things like cultural sensitivity, cultural training, as well as how to deal with failure, which I think is one of the best things to prepare people in the field, because I think so often when something goes wrong, it feels like the end of the world. And having preparation for that. And I learned this from someone else, so I'm stealing it from them, but problems are inevitable, but problems are solvable. And the more knowledge you have, the better you are at problem solving. So I think that's what the Academy is going to set people up for. And so that's my side of things, Lisa.
Yeah, just, a little bit more on the logistics side on the Academy. So we are going to actually have kind of an online application process. I believe after this chat, we'll be releasing the online application for both Academy and Mastermind. They're two separate applications. And then, this year for the Academy, since it is a very, very new program that we're just going to be launching, actually both are very new programs. We're keeping it to kind of a 6 month-ish program starting in October. So kind of going, for at least the second half of the year, and then starting again after kind of the holidays and the new year. But here are some of the topics that we're going to be covering during the Grow Academy. Again, they're pretty broad topics, but we wanted to cover kind of basic areas of global mobility with a little bit of a twist. One of my favorites is emotional intelligence in client relationships. I don't really think they're kind of topics that we thought of. We debated a lot on these topics, but they're not normal topics that you would be covering in kind of a strictly laid out, academy or sessions on a specific area, whether it's immigration or tax or vendor specific areas. But we, basically are trying to give people kind of a holistic, like learning and approach to global mobility. And in between, so the sessions, 5 out of the 6 will be mandatory. And we'll, hopefully be getting some dates together soon. So we really want people to commit to the sessions and to being able to be present with the sessions. But we understand because of time zones and different things that things do come up. And so the intention is that in between the sessions, we will have kind of smaller group chats. We thought of it as more like a TA session. At a university where you have the large lecture and then you have a smaller group where you can kind of, there can be more of a discussion and a focus on the topic, and also a little bit more of mentorship as well from more senior level people. But anyways, I've spoken a lot. We're really excited about it. I don't know if we want to do questions now on this or talk about Mastermind.
I think let's give Mastermind an opportunity to speak as well first before questions. But thanks for that, Lisa and Julia. That was great. We are just one point on it. We're going to have a small class size for our initial academy because we also want people to be able to get to know each other. Like it will be one group of people that's accepted to the academy that goes through the whole process together. So, you'll get to know your other academy attendees in addition to just hearing experts talk at you. We want it to be really interactive and to create that kind of genuine connection that goes beyond just the typical you're exchanging business cards at a networking session or something like that. So that was really intentional. But I'll flip it now to Marcel to tell you a little bit more about Mastermind.
Thanks, Audrey. Well, okay. Well, we had a great, actually, first Mastermind session during the breakout, in the breakout room. It kind of, more or less resembled what we were trying to achieve with Mastermind. And the thought behind Mastermind is that senior professionals who are either owning a global mobility practice or are in a leadership role, leading a team, for example, have all kinds of questions on their minds or issues that they feel they need to deal with that are very difficult to address as something that you can learn in a classroom setting. So what Mastermind aims to offer is for those professionals to participate in a small group of peers of 5 to max 8 people, a bit similar as what we did during the breakout in room 1. And then the idea is that that group of people meets each other online on like a monthly basis to discuss such questions in an open conversation by sharing experiences, giving each other input. There will be no need to prepare anything. There will be no recording, no note-taking or anything like that, just an open conversation. And what is very important, in a more or less confidential setting, so that you can be honest about what you believe, what you want to say. What is discussed within the group will stay within the group. That's the idea. For example, in the breakout, Adriana mentioned that it could be like an interesting question to discuss how firms, or how as a leader of a firm you can try to get your firm to implement the pro bono work, or not-for-profit work. It's not pro bono work, it's not-for-profit work. How do you implement and make people enthusiastic for activities that are, for example, giving, in terms of growth, gather, growth, give? I thought that was a question that we could deal with in Mastermind, but also for the people who are not seasoned but also very old. I want to hand over leadership because I want to retire. How do I do that? I want to retire, but I still want to be involved in my firm. How do you do that? What are your experiences? This is stuff that you cannot discuss with everybody in the office, especially when you are the owner and everyone else in your firm is junior. Then you would prefer to discuss that, or you could prefer to discuss that with people who are in a similar position. So that's what we aim to do. And as to the planning, well, since it's just a matter of selecting groups and then start the meetings, as there is no preparations, etc., materials to prepare. It's a 3-bullet planning. In August, September, we aim to select the participants based on the questionnaire form that you will need to fill out. That will allow us to select groups of people that we feel will have a good match. When the groups are selected, then we could start planning sessions in the month of October, with a start of the first monthly session in November, and then it can just go on and on.
Great, thanks, Marcel. That's a very good overview. All right, we're going to open it up to questions. Ben had one in the chat. How do we define eligibility for Mastermind? I think that it's somewhat of probably going to be somewhat of a learning process this year, because it is the first year. But that's why we've come up with kind of a detailed application for people to fill out, so we can group people appropriately. But I would say, if someone's just a couple of years into working in global mobility, it's probably not the best fit, at least the initial one. Maybe in the future we could open it up to doing groups for more junior professionals as well. It would be someone who's in some sort of a leadership function in their firm. Or as Marcel said, obviously people that are owning firms or other practices within the global mobility space. All right, I see Renee, you've got your hand up.
So, just on the Mastermind, firstly, I think people who, want to be sort of listening to others speaking, or the topic perhaps is relevant to them, so I'm just thinking, does there have to be an eligibility criteria? Because what happens if it's a person who is 2 years in starting their own business, but has got kind of some, those sorts of questions as to how do I invoice, what systems do I use? There might be something. So I'm not sure. I understand maybe ownership and senior leaders, but I don't know if we necessarily need to cut it off at a certain level. But that's just my input. I think everyone will only participate or attend if they see value in the session. But that's just my opinion.
Right, and I think that's why you have to group it so that people are at a similar, or at least a complementary level, because of someone who is asking the question of how they retire, semi-retire, but still stay involved in their firm is in a group with someone that's like, what immigration practice management software do I use? I've just started my practice a month ago. I mean, there are instances in which those two can help each other, but I don't know that that would be the right mix. So that's why I think we've got the form and can, you know, go through and see what makes sense. Other questions about either program?
So Audrey, during the breakout session, Zara mentioned the importance of mentoring. And we said, well, mentoring is definitely a topic for the community leadership to take initiatives in that.
Yeah.
If maybe you could say something about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think mentoring could come up in a couple of different ways. It could be a topic for you all to discuss in the mastermind group about, you know, if there's a desire to mentor, how do you do it most effectively? Or if you're a leader in a large firm, how do you introduce a program, or even a small one for that matter? You know, it could be a topic of discussion. And then what Lisa was talking about with having kind of TA or mentoring sessions in between the formal academy meetings to give people that mentoring kind of relationship where it's more informal and not necessarily one-on-one, but, you know, and we can invite, you know, I think that these two groups can kind of cross-pollinate. If we have people in Mastermind that are really passionate about mentoring and want to give back, well, then we have a group of people in the academy that are probably looking for mentors as they start out their career. So I think that there's a lot of room for crossover. If that's something, if that's a desire that folks who are signing up for Mastermind have, I definitely think we can find an outlet for that.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I wanted to add to that. We discussed mentorship a lot when we were talking about these two programs. It was like a debate. And I think, well, so we discussed formal mentorship programs and one-on-one mentorship. And I think a lot of us had been involved in kind of the formal mentorship programs at multiple levels in our careers, where you're kind of randomly placed with one person, or maybe even not so randomly. And we all kind of found that sometimes there's a lot of pressure on those relationships of what you have to do to be a mentor and what is most meaningful to be a mentor. And so for kind of this first year of Grow, we wanted to focus on more organic mentorship relationships and kind of not having that pressure be there. And so, with the intended kind of inter-session TA session type things that we had talked about for Academy, it's, it is kind of meant to be a mentorship session, but it's meant to be a less pressure-filled situation where there's maybe, a few more senior, people who are senior to the industry interacting with junior members, and there's, structured topics and things so that it's not just this awkward kind of conversation with you getting on a phone call or an email chain with someone and being like, okay, what do we talk about now? And we feel that even, and also with the mastermind, as Marcel and Audrey have mentioned, and Renee as well, that it's just a more organic way to kind of develop those connections. And of course, we're open to a more formal mentorship program in the future. We just kind of wanted to, see how this goes this year and see what people think.
Yeah, definitely good idea to give people the background on that. We want it to be organic. We also want it to be fun. And when something is like high pressure, then it's often not fun. We want people to come because they want to. And not because they feel like it's an obligation. We've got one, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, just a quick comment. I also think what Lisa said is like, I totally agree with it. I also think like mentoring relationships can form really organically. And one of the really cool things, I know some of you are already on it, is the Discord chat. And like you can, I think, eventually make friends and start to have conversations with people. We share articles and things. And I think that those organic relationships can happen by meeting people on the Discord. Everyone there is kind of open and happy to chat and share articles and ideas.
Yeah.
And yeah, those virtual friendships can happen. Someone that's not on this call, Philip Trott, is someone that I've met once. I think Fiona, actually, who is on this call, actually, I think we met twice, I think. But our friendship, our kind of, I would say as a mentor, has evolved quite a lot in the last 12 months, the number of times we've spoken. But we've met only a couple of times. So I think organic and virtual is a serious thing that can evolve in terms of mentoring relationships.
Yeah, and good call to mention Discord as well. Like, these groups are not the only, like, we'll have other events and we're on Discord. A lot of us are on there every day. You can listen to Massimo's music and all that fun stuff, but there's also just so many opportunities to connect informally. You don't have to be in one or the other of these programs in order to make use of Paradigm to help you grow. A couple quick questions. I know, Renee, you had a comment about asking for topics from the general membership in addition to the mastermind group. I think, yes, if we need additional topics, but I think I probably would want to prioritize like the people that are actually in the group, what's most important to them, because they're the ones that are talking about it. But I definitely think we've got the ability to survey, so we could survey for additional topics that people might not think about.
Well, I just think, you often, when you put an appeal out, you'll get sort of, maybe things we haven't thought about. I mean, in my head, I know what my priorities are and what my areas of interest are, but, it'd be interesting to see what other people are looking at from a mastermind perspective. And I just wanted to add on mentorship. It is really difficult to not organically align or put people together who may not get along and have to align. And also often the motivation needs to come from the individual who wants the mentorship. And often a mentor is the willing person to put in the time, but the mentee is often the person who, this doesn't arrive, hasn't got the full intention. So I think the organic way is, much better, but maybe on board to try and create opportunities for random discussions. But I know there's a video, opportunity, and I think I'm not using it. I don't know how many others are, but to kind of just dial in and say, hi, I'm available to chat. Who's on? A little bit like Clubhouse, hey guys, and you want to just chat randomly, because I think, people want to connect, but they're quite shy. So if like Fiona suggested a topic, she can say, hey guys, I've got half an hour. I want to chat about, area. Anyone want to hop on? Happy to chat in whatever format that is.
I'm just mindful of time, Renee. We're just a little over the hour, so I'm going to stop you there. I think absolutely using Discord to engage informally is a fantastic tool. And that's something we can maybe even engage a little bit more on in the channels we've got set up under Grow. Might push you to lead that, since it is a good idea.
Renee, to answer quickly to Renee, with under the innovation channel, we have created a Let's Talk using a stage is something that offered by Discord and is similar to Clubhouse. We didn't use it yet, but there is something is very similar, to Clubhouse.
Yeah, and I think we can provide some more information about that really soon with the event you're going to be doing too, Marco. I do just want to be mindful to address the two questions that attendees had in the chat. Lynn wanted to know, can someone in the Academy group be able to transition to the Mastermind program ultimately? Yes, absolutely. And I think there's room also to create additional mastermind groups in the future that go beyond, just kind of the initial one we have envisioned, which is for kind of people that are in more of a leadership position. I think there can be a lot of value in being together with people that are at a junior level and like, what are you experiencing? What are your challenges? I think it can offer almost the same level of value to people that are newer, but definitely I think, the hope is to open up and to expand and you could transition from one to the other. And then
Thank
Fiona, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Just a thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And then Fiona said, how about people who would like a mentor actually propose an area in which they would like to mentor more junior staff? yeah, I mean, I think we need to talk, the feedback here is we need to talk a little bit more about how we can facilitate those informal mentor connections, using some of the technology tools, maybe ideally that we have at our disposal on Discord, so that, you know, people who want to mentor in a particular area can chime in on there and say that. And then if there are more junior members that are on, that are interested, they can respond and make an organic connection that way. Discord also has, you know, direct messaging features, so it's not something where you have to, you know, continue the relationship in the public forum. If you want to connect, you know, have a call, message each other directly, and form organic mentoring relationships. I think that's great. It would definitely be in keeping with what we're trying to accomplish with Paradigm. Zara mentioned, I think it's important to hear about how everyone goes about mentoring their junior staff in a work setting. Absolutely. I think that's a great topic to talk about. I know that's a huge thing for me. Like, am I doing everything for my staff that I can? And other people probably have great ideas I've not even thought of. So sharing that information would be fantastic. Let's see, any other questions? Yeah, Mastermind Academy end of year mixer, virtual graduation party. That's a good idea, Lisa. Ben, no, there cannot be prom. I'm not doing that again. All right, the rest are just comments. Any other live questions before we close? I'm happy to stay on and make sure everyone gets their questions answered, but I'm also mindful that we're over time. Last call for questions. All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming, for being so engaged. As we mentioned, we will be sending out the links for the Mastermind group and for the Academy group application. Feel free to pass those on to people. You know, whether it's your boss needs some support or your junior staff needs some support, either direction, feel free to pass it on to others. We do ask that people be a member of Paradigm in order to go through either of the programs, but people are welcome to join at any time. And this is a member benefit for Paradigm members, so everyone's welcome to apply. There's no extra fees or anything other than that. We just came up with application forms because we want to be able to gather information on who is interested and make sure we've got a really good mix of folks in there. Yeah. Renee, did you have another question? Sorry. Nope.
No, I think that Renee just mentioned about Fiona's idea, right, Renee? Fiona, can you briefly mention your idea to the group? I think that it was a great idea. Thanks for reminding Renee.
Well, I was just suggesting that I think that one of the easiest ways of training staff on something that's very important, because we're working in global mobility, is to give junior staff the possibility of an exchange program, and that maybe this is something which a group of people would like more. You know, I don't know, the Grow group, this is all your subject. It's certainly something that I would be very, very interested in seeing and setting up. You know, exchanging junior staff for 3 months more. They get a flavor of something else in India, in Paris, in China, and, you know, vice versa. But Marco did raise the issue around the immigration and that we had to have this in a compliant manner. Yes, of course we do.
I know, I mean, Fiona, if you want to have this conversation later, but Tira actually did start international exchanges.
Yeah.
And briefly, I remember they were saying how it worked is that, say, someone from France would send it to South Africa. Basically, they would pay, the France company would pay for the flights. The South African company would do board and lodging and all the training. So it was basically, you know, not a very costly, but very fruitful experience for the individuals.
Very.
Yeah. So, I mean, I do think if that's a you know, if that can grow, I think it's a good idea. Yeah.
That's really interesting. That's a great idea, except that maybe all my staff might like to go to see you, Fiona, in Paris.
Don't worry. I'll have mine coming over to see you, Audrey.
All
There
right.
you
Not in the winter, though. They won't like it here then. Such a great idea. Thank you, guys. All right. I'm going to be mindful of time and stop us there, but this is only the first of many Grow Chats. Like I said, the future ones will be more informal, so there'll be even more time for exchanging ideas, and anybody's welcome to propose a topic that we can discuss. I think we're going to be meeting round about every 6 weeks or so. We have a calendar that for the rest of the 2021-22 paradigm year that we're going to be putting up soon, so you can see exactly when the Grow Chats are coming up. We're going to have chats, each one of the areas. So grow, gather, give, diversity, and innovation are all going to have chats. So anything that kind of strikes your interest, you're welcome to pop on and talk to other people about them and see what we can get going. I think the more input we have from different people, the stronger we're going to be, and the more we'll be able to help our members really grow and develop. So thank you again, everyone, for attending.
Great stuff. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.